Hey, everybody. Welcome back to KF&JF podcast Today we have a very, very special guest on our show. And, we are so excited for it. I don't even know what to say. This gentleman has so much to offer us today in information. And I am blessed to have him here today. Also here with my sidekick Razak over there from United Minority Business Venture. He is so much in the know now. He's getting everything started for us today. And you know what? I also want to say this, here at KF&JF podcast, we take it and we really feel, honored when people come on our show that have information to offer, not only just us, but everybody in the world, as far as people from the bottom and working to bring everybody up. So I'm going to go ahead on and pass this on to Razak and let him go ahead and introduce himself again. So you guys that don't know him.
Okay, my name is Razak. I'm the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My company assists in the creation and maintenance of other people's businesses by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate using networking tools, social media marketing, marketing profile, marketing strategies, your financial profile, branding your product, your merchandising, and just managing your website, from the posts to the creating subscriptions and comments and likes through generating dialogue and conversation. And I'm just glad to be here and be a part of the movement that's going on right now.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you as far as my guest co-host here today. And this gentleman, you know, his name is Dave Lewis. And I tell you, the 501c8 guy, he has the information, he has the tools to be able to share with us and give us some really good insight on how we can do better in our life, how we can do better in our community, how we can do better in our family. All of these things are so important. And I just want to go ahead and thank him again for taking the time to be a part of KF&JF podcast. Go ahead, Mr. Lewis. Tell us all about it.
Wow. Well, I appreciate this opportunity to you both Keith and Razak. Um, you know, who I am, before we get into this, I need people to know who I am in the world, right? Who I am is someone who is a demand for things to shift in our communities. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired, and something's got to change. Somebody's got to do it. So why not me, right? And it's not just me. The whole movement behind what I'm about to share with you tonight. However, you could think of me as the Harriet Tubman of freedom. Freeing our people from survival. Right? We're constantly caught up in survival mode all the time, all day, every day, and
That's
it's
right.
a
Yes, sir.
of reasons why that happens. It just, you can pick any one of them: racism, oppression, you name it. It could be, it's a whole design that keeps us in this survival mode.
Right.
And that's where a bunch of stuff happens. And so, I'm 56. I don't know if I'll see it in my lifetime, but I dream of a day when there are no more issues in our communities. And what do I mean? See, right now in the world that we live in, there is an overwhelming amount of hatred and jealousy amongst us. It just is what
Mm.
it is, right? I hate you because you have something that I want and I don't know how to get. So I'm going to take it from you.
That's pretty much it. Mm. That's pretty much it.
Your
Mhm.
food. You either eat or be eaten.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. That's such a powerful statement be made. That here we are, all supposed to be in kind of like brothers and sisters in the movement of trying to help each other, but yet there's the hate, and yes, there's the misunderstanding of just all sorts of things. So it's important for us to try to figure out to clear that dust and to provide some kind of guidance for our people, to let them know that there is a way. Just like you saying the area Tubman, there is a way, and she found the way to be able to lead the people out of this place that was so suppressed. And so I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the information you have, the information you're going to end up sharing with all of us here. And I will tell you, Dave, thank you again here at KF&JF Podcast. We really do appreciate it. So why don't you go ahead and take through your idea of what it takes to get some of these things back in or back on track, so that we can all benefit from that.
Got you. Well, I appreciate again. This is it's an honor to be here on your podcast, and when it comes to this vision that was bestowed to me, because I didn't get it on my own, right? It came from a higher power. It was God, right? That's just what it is. And I envision the day where I don't hate on you. You don't hate on me, because I drive what I want to drive. You drive what you want to drive. You have whatever kind of home you want because you can afford it, because you got plenty of money to do it. And I have the same. I vacation wherever I vacation, and you do too. There's no reason to hate. So therefore, I don't need to escape my present reality through opioid use and abuse, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, sex abuse. You just pick one, right? There's all kinds of escapes. Video games, right? All these different things, because you try to escape your reality. And what if you just loved your reality so much that you didn't have to escape? Well, guess what? The people that promote all that negativity that goes on within our communities, it's all supply and demand. When the demand is so low, they're out of business. They got to figure out something else to do. You can't force something down somebody's throat if they don't want it.
Well, tell me a little bit about, you. I'm a little,
Sure.
I'm really kind of like an eye in a little way. So I'm really just trying to figure out, what about you? How did you get to this place where was it something through your school? While you were in school, something you learned as you was an adult? What was it that made a change in you, that this was a place and that you wanted to go down?
Oddly enough, it was a Craigslist ad that I saw at a time when I was looking for something extra. And then it was like perfect. It was divine timing, because as soon as I got involved, the world came crashing down, and I ended up being homeless for over a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And I've seen some things on the street that nobody wants to see. And if anybody's ever been homeless, they can relate to what I'm talking about. I've slept in those shelters, those barricades, I like to call them, because the snores are so ridiculously loud. And then you got your opioid abusers walking around trying to steal your stuff.
Right.
You sleep with one eye open. Like that's what it was like. Sometimes I slept in a car that I rented and did what do you call it? The different gig work stuff. You deliver food,
like a staffing agency or something, like a
nah, like the independent. Like I don't want to name any names, but you kind of know what I'm talking about. Like you deliver food, fast food to people, and
like some kind of laboring, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but there were times where I either made enough money to stay in an Airbnb or a hotel, or I slept in the car. And the nights that I slept in that car, it was a tiny little Ford Focus. Okay, I'm 5'11".
Yeah, you definitely getting your head bumped on that one. I think that the idea that you can relate to the people that you're talking to is so important, because if you have some experiences that's those experiences that a lot of people, like you say, will never go through. but the
Right.
things that you go through in that kind of situation, the things that you see, the people that you see, because there are a lot of people that are in that situation had jobs before, they were successful before, they were just hit with hard times. So it's such a honor to be able to have someone that can relate to all of that, all of those areas, and be able to bring what you're going to bring to this table today. And so I'm
Absolutely.
again, I think that that is something that we all should be thankful for, because you've came out of that.
Mm.
You're in you got a roof over your head to a certain extent. Now. So now I'm so proud of that. What do you say, Razak?
That's showing that we have somebody who has truly started from the ground. Because I like to say that we're on ground level right now. We're starting off. We're trying to get the ins and out of learning the business, and those who have had businesses and they might have failed. What entailed the failing of that business, and how did you regain your focus to get back in business? So you're like prime suspect to say, hey, you failed so far that you became homeless and you was really struggling. It wasn't like earlier you was talking about the like is it like a financial discrimination, or what is it going on inside the community? So when people was seeing you and they were saying like, hey, this guy is homeless, like the people who knew you before you were homeless, what I mean, did they ever reach out, or did they say like, hey, you took that fall and you're never going to get up again? Where we lost our confidence in you. We lost our ability to believe that you were going to
Mhm.
actually become something again. What I mean, or this is just a short little you know well, a year or something is a little bit longer than the short, but at the same time, with a lifespan of opportunities and failures, and learning from those failures, and getting back on the horse, and riding back out. I see that we have a prime candidate for the discussions that we like to have about building a business, and where does the motivation and the ideology and the mind state come from when you're making your business or pursuing the career that you want to be in.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all mindset. It's definitely all mindset. It's all what you put in here, right? The books you
Mhm.
read, the things that you see. Um, yeah, there was some of that. There was some people that just disappeared. There was a few people, a handful of people that, hey, look, stay on top. Stayed in touch. Kept me focused on what I was doing. To get out of that.
Right.
But the old saying, look, the same wind blows on us all. It just does.
Right.
Life,
That's right. Right.
life be lifing, as we
Right.
say, right? So nobody cares, what I mean? And it's fine. At the end of the day, it's about what you find inside yourself,
Right.
to motivate yourself. Don't look for anybody else to motivate you. Motivate yourself. Find a way to keep going, keep getting up every single day, no matter what. There's no alternative for me. You just got to keep going. So I went through that. Yeah, definitely.
What do you
So
see some of the things that go ahead, Rock. Go ahead, Razak.
no, I was saying, right now it's like I'm listening to your testimony of faith and devotion, and I'm thinking, have you experienced criticism because of your work ethic now? What I mean, because you was down and out, and now what I mean, you was striving forward. Is there like criticism? Is like a backlash because of where you started from, or how you got started?
Let me say this. I can't occupy my mind or even my space with any of that, honestly.
Right,
The way, you know, I'm not a victim. I don't look at myself as a victim, right? I don't consider myself as a victim. I don't operate as a victim. Like there's no world out there controlling the situation or circumstance controlling the situation. No, me. Okay, so I am at the center of that, and so you know, my words, my language, my conversation creates my world,
okay.
and
That's true. That's
that's
good.
how I literally survived. Because I remember having conversations with folks that were homeless, and like you said, there were so many people that just down on their luck, lost a job, got caught up, spiral. There you go, right? But then they got comfortable, And I tried to inspire them not to be comfortable. There was a few that were not and worked their way. And, I lost contact with them, but, they were still working towards something. But then there were also others that were just, every day is the same day. It is what it is. But, I couldn't relate to that, staying there. It's not where I wanted to stay. I had big plans, big dreams, big visions, and that's just it.
Where are you from? Where are you from? Are you
I'm
from East
Jersey.
Coast there?
Yeah, I'm from Jersey.
Well, so,
And,
there's how do you see the, we here on the West Coast, so, we're not used to cold weather and all that other stuff, but how do you see, or have you ran across people from different, states, and you see that there's some differences as far as how they carry themselves in their community, or through your communication with them in relates to trying to build us up? Do you see that as a difference between the West and the East as far as the type of programs, the type of opportunities and things of that nature?
No, it's the same. In fact, when I was homeless, I was in the Midwest. So, and I met people from all walks of life, and I noticed that there's a commonality across the country. I even noticed that when I was a truck driver years ago, when I would travel from coast to coast and would meet different people and so on and so forth, and see the homeless, and it's all the same. The homeless situation in this country is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And what I'm gonna share with you tonight is a way to also impact that, and that's near and dear to my heart because I was there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Well, we look forward to that. So, without further ado, let's get into that understanding, and try to help create an opportunity for somebody else that's out there, and help them to see the light, so to speak. Is there something that they can do to enhance their lives and the opportunities that are out there? Can they just seize them? Because sometimes we walk away from opportunities when they're just staring us right in the face because of just being scared, or being told that you can't, or whatever it is. But I think that there's so much that you can bring to the conversation. So let's see if there's I think there's a video or a statement that, or you want to read from. There's something that you want to be able
There's
to
a couple things.
put
I'm
on
gonna share my screen. There's a couple things I'm going to share, and then we can cue the video up. Sure, absolutely. So
sure.
I'll go ahead and do that now.
Sure.
All right.
Rocky.
I like to
this is
start.
one of those things.
I like to start with kind of a context, right? Like I Googled. I did this today. I said, why does crime exist in the United States? And you think about that. I mean, before you even read this, why does it exist in the first place?
Because people don't have the opportunities, or they don't think they have the opportunities, and they want the easier road of taking versus working for it.
Yeah, but let's see what this says. It says social root causes of crime are inequality, not sharing power, lack of support to families and neighborhoods, real or perceived inaccessibility to services, lack of leadership in communities, low value placed on children and individual well-being, the overexposure to television as a means of recreation. I'm surprised it is overexposed
to TV and video games.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. I mean, let's think about it. There's all these images. We've seen these images on TV every day, multiple times a day. I mean, look at this. I'm gonna slow down here. I'm scrolling too fast. Okay. We've seen crime scenes, mug shots, murder scenes, drug scenes, court scenes, right? They even made shows, reality shows about all this stuff. They're stuffing it down our throat. So no wonder we're in a sense of survival over and over and over again. Now, what's gonna stop that? Well, I don't know if it's going to stop it completely. I don't even know if I'll see it in my lifetime, but it's worth fighting for and it's worth standing for. So I'm going to share something with you. I want take a look at this.
Have you ever heard of a 501c8 entity? Don't worry, 98% of people haven't either. While many of us are familiar with 501c3s, such as churches, schools, and charitable organizations, the 3 in 501c3 is just one type of not-for-profit. In fact, there are 29 different types, ranging from 501c1 to 501c29. Let me explain. A 501c1 entity is a not-for-profit bank, commonly known as a federal credit union. Since they're not-for-profit, members enjoy lower fees, better interest rates, and easier loan access. Many don't realize that credit unions offer these benefits because, to maintain their tax-exempt status, they must provide certain programs. Take Navy Federal Credit Union, for example. They're great, but their exclusive benefits are a requirement for their tax exemption. Now, we're not in banking, nor do we deal with credit unions, but this concept also applies to the life insurance industry. The 501c8 Impact Initiative aims to educate people about 501c8 not-for-profit life insurance companies. Because 501c8 entities are not-for-profit, they're significantly more affordable and offer a long list of free programs for their members. Many companies spend tens of millions of dollars on advertising, and that cost is passed on to the consumer. But 501c8 entities don't, resulting in lower premiums for policyholders. Like credit unions, 501c8 life insurance companies must provide exclusive benefits to their members, regardless of the policy amount. A member is a member, and they get access to the programs. For instance, they offer care grants and community grants, allowing members to apply for funds to support local initiatives like food drives, clothing donations, backpack distributions, or even community beautification projects. They have a deals and discount club that gives members access to thousands of discounts on everyday purchases like shopping, electronics, rental cars, hotels, flights, movies, shows, food, etc. There are literally thousands of discounts available. They write people's wills for free. They have a tuition reimbursement program. They offer scholarships and much more. Additionally, there's an online learning program with hundreds of courses covering a wide range of topics, from cybersecurity to project management. For those with children and grandchildren, they have a members-only exclusive scholarship program where hundreds of scholarships are given away annually, so your family doesn't have to compete with everyone else. They provide programs like parental legacy, family fund grants, and more. As you see, there's a significant difference between the price of something and the value of it. 501c8 entities provide more than just a death benefit, and the 501c8 Impact Initiative's primary goal is to raise awareness so people can do more for their family and communities. Whether someone has life insurance already or not, the 501c8 Impact Initiative can connect you with our licensed third-party life insurance collaborative to give you more information on how you can access these resources. No pressure, and it's 100% a free consultation. But book 15 minutes to chat. 501c8 entities can often help people save money, or some choose to get additional insurance to access the programs and benefits. If you currently don't have insurance outside of a job, we definitely want to chat because your life insurance can and should be more than just a death benefit.
All right. So let's talk about this for a second, right? I'm going to share my screen again. 1 second here. Okay, here we go. So what are we talking about here? And how is this going to make a difference in the community? Well, let's look at it. We talked about the deals and discount club, right? You know, members can access deals on everyday necessities, electronics, other online shopping opportunities, additional family-focused activities, you know, become more affordable with discounts on hotels, rental cars, theme parks, attractions, and much more. Bottom line is you save money, right? Online learning enrichment. I remember when I went to college, or before I went to college, I went to electronic trade school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I wasted a lot of time. And ultimately, I didn't end up doing electronics. I chose a couple different things, but if I had had an opportunity to look and really delve into different industries like business management or project management or technology or finance or retirement planning, cybersecurity, Microsoft courses, maybe I wouldn't have wasted so much time and my parents' money. You know what I
That's
mean?
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Parental legacy programs.
Yeah.
This offers financial support to children under the age of 18. Look, when a parent passes, it's devastating. Parent or parents. There were a lot of people that planned on coming home today, and they didn't.
Right.
And they had young children. If they were a member of a 501c8, they would have received, the caregiver of each child under the age of 18 would have received $900 a month every single month up to age 18. And then after that, an additional $6,000 to a total of $24,000 to help with higher education.
Is that a life insurance, or is that like a grant or something? Is that?
This is within the 501c8. Now, 501c8 is a not-for-profit life insurance company.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing to help with higher education expenses. Scholarship programs. Hundreds of competitive scholarships are awarded annually with no real competition, because you're not competing with the rest of the country. You're just competing with those members' children, right?
How do you build the legacy part? What is it that helps to establish the legacy part through your program and the things that you're offering there because some of the things that people are afraid of most of the time on the lower level of education and the workforce is what they can afford to pay, what they can afford to do to put their mind in some kind of way to thinking about the future. So they don't even think about the future. Everything becomes today. So
you're right.
And so how do you get the legacy part to come across where people can feel as if there's something that they can do regardless of what stage they're at in life?
There's a two-part answer to that. The first part is I'm on page 2, you're on page 8, and I love the way you think.
All right.
Okay. I didn't even get to that part yet.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's no problem. What I was doing is just literally unfolding a little bit more detail about some of these.
No worries. I was just in my mind. That's what it's not so much trying to go further than your program the way your presentation is. It's just that I was thinking, man, how for the people that are out there listening, and it's just as if they were listening through me. Well, how do I do it if I ain't got nothing? So, that's why I'm saying this, because I think someone is telling me to ask that question.
Right. Absolutely. It was sent through the universe. I get it.
Right. Go ahead.
You got some thought. You're doing a lot of thought-provoking. You're making a lot of, it's like profound. You know what I mean? Where it makes the gears in your brain start turning. Like, like, okay, what about this? What about this? But you have a certain format that we're going by. So to get to there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. When you look at the scholarship programs and the family fund grants, you get to go to places like, amusement parks and zoos and aquariums and things of that nature. You can get your documents prepared for free, your power of attorney, medical directive, healthcare directive. If you look that stuff up, that's expensive. It's not cheap, right? Illness protection program provides access to funds to cover bills and other expenses if you develop a serious illness like a heart attack, stroke, and stuff like that. Tuition reimbursement, and then of course the community grants. They have grants anywhere from a couple $100 to a couple thousand. But watch this now. When you become a member and you think about the community, okay, if one member has access to $200, that may not seem like a whole lot of money. It buys a lot of books for some students. It buys a lot of book bags or some uniforms for some students, right? It does some stuff. But watch this. You ever heard of the term cooperative economics?
No.
That's when one or more people, actually more than one person, comes together, and it creates more of a bounty, if you will. Ujima is in Swahili.
What say what that is again? How do you pronounce it? What do you say?
Cooperative economics. I think I got that right.
Cooperative economics.
Yeah, you can.
That's a group of people
going
into
it's a concept.
Concept.
It's an African concept. And what happens is multiple people come together to raise a lump sum of capital, lump sum of cash, right? So think about this. If you have 1,000 people, let's say, let me pull up a calculator. Let's say you got 1,000 people in a community, and each one of them has a 501c8 not-for-profit life insurance policy. And there's multiple kinds. There's accidental, there's the temporary kind that lasts a few year periods, like 15, 20, 25, or 30 years. And then you have permanent policies that last your whole life and accumulate cash, right? But let's say, no matter what type they got, that's all personal preference and need and whatnot. And I discussed that in appointment settings. But let's say 1,000 people did that and got $200, right? So let's watch this now. 1,000 people times $200. Now you see what I mean by cooperative economics?
200,000.
Yeah, you could do a whole lot with a community with that kind of money.
We like to say they could do a lot of good in any hood.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And I haven't even talked about $2,000 per quarter times that same 1,000 people.
So that's like saying that the low income housing, any housing, minority community, Black community, it just takes to go apply for these grants, and they you can get issued up to $2,000 on a quarterly basis.
Yes, as long as you're
in a group of people. Let me ask you this: can this be from the same people in the same household? Like moms, dads, and then the son, they could all get the same thing, or it has to be in the form of a life insurance?
It is definitely in the form of a life insurance policy. That's the way you have access to it. Much like the only way you can access the benefits of a 501c1, a credit union, you have to be a member. Well, how do you become a member of a credit union? You open up an account. Does it matter if it's $5, $50, $500, $5,000? Doesn't matter. You have an account. You have access to all the resources of that credit union. Well, a 501c8, a fraternal benefit society, is no different. It's the same way, same concept. So in order to access what the 501c8 provides its members, you have to be a member. And how you become a member is you're a policy owner. So to answer your question, if you got a household and everyone in the household has a policy, yeah, you can multiply that 200 or that 2,000 times however many people is in that household.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, there's a couple of caveats to this, though. You can't. You have to host a one-day volunteer activity event in your local community. This is not for you personally. I want to make that real clear.
Yeah.
No, you ain't getting $2,000 and go buy. No.
Yeah.
You won't be approved anyway. There's an approval process. It takes 6 to 8 weeks. The application is about 5 to 10 minutes. You don't need a grant writer or any of that. But it has to be something for the community. And you have to go through a local 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization, your churches, your schools, like that, right? That's the stipulation with the with the $2,000. And
can you just put a little more detail on that by saying going through the churches and the schools, we have to
put it this way,
include them, or
no, it's not that you got to include them. I was using that as an example.
churches
and schools are designated as a 501c3, just like the United Way,
nonprofit organization.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So you have to be able to work with a local nonprofit organization and serve the community that they serve. For example, you're going to do something with the homeless, you're going to do some hygiene kits or some coat drives or sock drives or whatever you're going to do. You have to go through the local shelter. Right? You got to contact them, say, look, I have $2,000. I want to do some things. Are you okay with that? Okay, yeah, great. I'm going to host a one-day volunteer activity and make sure that everybody there, at least as many coaches we can get, does this. Now, if you combine that with other members, you can't do the same thing on the same day, but the next day you could do the same thing, or 2 days later you could do the same thing, or a week later, or you can get multiple people doing the same thing and have a whole month, a series of events, of one-day volunteer activity events. You can get really creative with this stuff. Okay, so that's what I mean by cooperative economics. That's part of the value in restoring some of what's broken in the community, in communities across the country. Okay. So did I answer your question? I just want to make sure I answered your question. Did I?
Yes, I was going to say, so when people are saying how run down the community is, you can go and get this grant to help out, and multiple people can therefore have the money to fix what's broken in the hood, or graffiti or whatnot, or clean up the potholes in the street and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely.
It's based on the insurance that you hold. The first, I think what he's saying, the principal part to this is you need to be a holder of the insurance. And once you have that hold, then now you have the ability to have access. And then that access allows you to be able to do things, whether it's work in your community, whether it's work through your church, whether it's work through your school, whether it's work through all of these nonprofit organizations that you are able to connect with to provide that service that you're saying. Whether it's, if there's a nonprofit organization that fix potholes in your neighborhood, then yes, you can go through them to help them provide that service. Is that what I understand?
Yes and no. I mean, you don't necessarily. I don't know if you'll necessarily find a nonprofit that fixes potholes, but
yeah, I'm just saying that's just what you would have to do. But normally it would be a church that you would go through that with,
right?
In your scenario about clothing, helping the homeless, helping some of those other things. But just to address the fact that him mentioning the pothole was that one, you would have to find a nonprofit organization that's fixing potholes. But we know that there's none of them out there because they'd have been fixing.
There goes the business idea right there.
That's your Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's been fixing potholes in his neighborhood and forever. But he's not a nonprofit organization. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what he was saying.
Yeah, see, like what you could do, like just talking about being creative, right? You could go to a local church and say, look, we want to educate some youngsters about concrete work and repair, and maybe go to a local school and find some students and get those potholes repaired with a beautification grant, right? $2,000 per member.
There you go.
Beautification grant sponsored through the local church, and then other volunteers will come out, and they'll help out and so forth. And it becomes a big spectacle, right? You can advertise it and you can white label it and all kinds of stuff you can do around that.
Right.
People do that all the time. So that's an example, of the kinds of things that happen, So yeah, so I don't want to belabor the point, but that's pretty much what a 501c8 is and the value of it. Now, to answer your question about, how can somebody build legacy if they don't have nothing? The true answer is they can't. They need something to start, right? So, a job of some kind, and we can help with that because we're connected in all different industries. In fact, I know of a company, I can't name it right now. It's in its early stages, but I know of a company where you literally can get hired within an hour and start work, and find out if you like it or not. And if you do, great. And there's no buy-in or any of that. And you're just making a huge difference in business owners' lives. So, but that's for another conversation, another day. But so there's all kinds of, because you never know who knows who, right? There's all kinds of connections and so forth. When you're out in the community making differences like this, you meet all kinds of people. And so there's all types of resources that are available, including this and beyond this. Okay. So, yeah. So I want to shift gears for a moment here. Just going to pause.
Sure. Take your time. Take your time there. This is one of those things that we want to definitely bring to the community, because we know that there's a lot of people out there that have different ideas of how they can, create legacy, and they don't know that you do need to have something before you go ahead on and just jump into trying to get your life together and trying to build something. You got to start from somewhere. So that means that you at least got to have some commitment, and to wanting to do something for the future and not rely so much on just today, because if you just
I'm
just
thinking
today,
of the
never have it.
the business possibilities. You know what I mean? Non-profit. So working through a nonprofit, so you got you're filing for the insurance. Can that had to ask him? Can you be the person who has the insurance coverage and be the person who has the business that you're working through to use the funds?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this what you want to bring up there, Dave? You good with that?
No, no. I'm just answering his question. I'm getting ready to bring up. I'm going to shift gears here in just a moment.
Okay. Okay.
Because there's a clue, right? There's some clues that have been laid out for us, and I'm gonna share that. But to answer your question, the short answer is yes. If you own a 501c3, a nonprofit, and you as an individual, not the organization, but as the individual, and individuals within the organization, purchase a not-for-profit life insurance policy, a 501c8, a fraternal benefit society. If they do that, then each and every person has access to all of these resources I just went over with you.
Okay.
And they can use those resources through that 501c3 if they choose.
Now, see, that's important information to know that right there. You know how we can, you can get it, you can use it, and it's what you say so it goes through an approval process. You said
right.
So
the grant, the community grant is pretty. I've seen people get approved for that in 24 to 48 hours. It's only $200, but the $2,000, yeah, there's an approval process. You have to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, get logistics. Everything has to be in order, right? And it has to be about the community, and preferably something from an educational standpoint. If it's not educational, at least something that really impacts the community in a major way.
Yeah, that's so in the Black community, minority communities, relatively might be any community really. I mean, they always have situations of cleaning up the area, the foliage, the trees or something. We was going down the street the other day, and we was driving through the housing area, and it was just like the thought occurred to me of having like a landscaping business or something like that, because it would just seem like so many people just let their lawns get overran or something like that, and you see like complexes and duplexes where they have maintenance crews that come in and regularly shape up and clean up and keep the area clean. Would that be like a business that you can have where you present to the would you have to go to like the city or something and to create a business where your business is cleaning up the sidewalks or maintaining an area without actually having to go to each individual homeowner?
It depends. I mean, is the business a not-for-profit business, a non-profit
Right,
business?
right.
Right.
You know,
That is the key. That is the key
yeah.
right there. Yeah, the
I mean,
key is that
when you're landscaping, isn't that if you're lawn mowing, cutting up lawns and stuff like that? Isn't that you can make that a nonprofit? I mean, you could just a filing of what you want to make the business, right?
Well, not necessarily, because nonprofit, 501c3 tax status, it's not immediate. It's not overnight. It could take like a year. You know what I'm saying? So, or longer, depending on a lot of different factors. I'm not gonna get into that right now. But the bottom line is, if that individual, that landscaper, wanted to make a difference in his or her community in some way, shape, or form, they could by picking up a policy membership. Absolutely.
You know what? I think that we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be right back